Eiger, Eigra, Eiger. Sick, ill. You can almost hear it in this word, right? Eiger. Clamo, clamare, clamavi, clamatum. To shout. Yeah. Clam in Latin means secretly. Clamo means I shout. That's an interesting coincidence. Those two things have nothing to do with each other. But consider the English proclaim or acclamation. Now we're getting there. Cur. Why? Cur is one of those QU question words in Latin. It just doesn't start with a Q. Consider that there are all sorts of words in Romance languages that we might otherwise think would begin with a Q, like the Latin quando, which means when, that becomes cuando, when, with a C, in Spanish. C's and Q's are closely related. Desidero, desiderare, desideravi, desiderato. I desire. Maybe drop that second D out, and you can see how this verb relates to desire. Fessus, fessa, fessum. Tired. I think of the fussy little baby. That baby's fussy for one of a couple reasons, one of which may be it's tired. Fleo, flere, flewi, fletum. To weep, to cry, as you might if you were a tired baby. Lightus, lighta, lightum. Happy. Happy dog. Mare, maris. The sea with an S-E-A. Remember how we said that oftentimes Latin nouns of the third declension provide cognates from their second sen. Here, M-A-R-I gives us things that are marine, and the marina, mare maris, the sea. Non. Non is that negative particle we use to negate things. What does that mean? More often than not, it means not. We will also see it combined into English forms like can't and don't. Which is right? Use the context of the Latin sentence to determine which English is best. Quod. Quod can mean several different things in Latin. Because is a good translation of quod when it seems to be a subordinate conjunction. That is, a word introducing another clause. Quod can also mean which or that. But to do so, it will need to be combined with a verb that it can be the subject or the direct object of. More on that later. Rideo, ridere, risi, risum. To laugh, to smile. Rogo, rogare, rogavi, rogatum. In English, we ask with this verb. In the police office, we might interrogate. The rogate in interrogate is related to this Latin root. Sedeo, sedere, sedi, sessum. To sit. People who are too sedentary often need to get up and stretch their legs a little bit. The fourth form of this verb reminds us that our word session originally came to mean something like a sitting. Sto, stare, steti, statum. To stand. Stare, the infinitive, just needs an nd ending to get us to an English cognate. Notice the fourth form, statum, which is related to our word state and static. There are all sorts of things remaining motionless that we describe with this Latin root in English. Takeo, takere, takui, tacitum. To be quiet, to be silent. People who don't act in situations where action is called for to confront something that they disagree with are often described as giving tacit approval to what's going on. Someone who is taciturn often is silent in situations where others would say something. Both of these English words ultimately come from the Latin verb that describes being quiet. Tacite. Tristis, tristis, triste. Sad. Umbra, umbrae. Shadow, shade. The English word umbrella describes what we use today to protect us from the rain. But consider that what the umbrella does also can protect us from the sun. It's a kind of traveling shade or shadow. Thus, umbra umbrae, the shade or the shadow. Urgeo, urgere, ursi. To urge. That's a cognate. Visito, visitare, visitavi, visitatum. To visit. Doesn't come much easier than verbs like visito, visitare, especially when you see them spelled out. Voco, vocare, vocavi, vocatum. To call. You might think of this as to use your voice. That noun in Latin, vox, vocus. Things vocal are described by this verb and that noun. Until next time, Wale.